Well, good morning again, Dan. At this stage, the latest that we have coming from authorities is still one person confirmed dead. Her body was retrieved in the early hours of the morning, Dan. In fact, it's just about we were here when they finally managed to get her out from under the rubble. At this stage, they are drilling through another section of this rubble because that's where sniffer dogs have pointed out, and they believe that a second person could be there. Now, in terms of casualties, 29 people overall treated, 11 critically injured, 18 others treated for minor to serious injuries. Now, of course, because they don't know how many people were expected to be on site at that particular time, they actually don't know how many people they're looking for, and at this stage, no clear numbers yet of how many people are actually missing, Dan.
Okay, I did understand that you've got somebody that you want to be talking to, and you can go ahead in a short drop, but just let us know what's going to happen to that railway line. Will there be traffic this morning that's running very close there to that building site?
Well, Dan, earlier this morning and also from last night, authorities had told us that this railway track was actually going to be completely closed off. But what we've seen since this morning is they've opened one of the railways, and trains are using just a single lane along this track. That's the one that's furthest away from the site of the collapse. As you can see, we've also changed our positioning a little bit. We're now standing on a rooftop, Dan, and it's going to give you a better view of our background. So the railway that I'm talking about is actually the one that's just here. So they're using the single lane that's on the far right. You know, from where you can see the police cordon off, there's a van that's part of that rubble. It was on the construction site at the time that this building actually collapsed. But for more on this, I'm going to speak to Jennifer Naidoo, and she was actually here when this happened. We're standing on her roof, Dan, and she saw this entire thing as it happened. Firstly, let's begin with what were you doing when you heard the loud noise?
Okay, I was in my room trying to pack some stuff and putting some clothes away.
All right, yeah.
And then I heard a huge explosion. And at that very instant, the train went past, so I thought the train had exploded. But when I came outside, I saw the whole mall had collapsed. And I saw people flying from the building, and some of them fell on the rail track. Okay. It was very sad.
Now, when you say people were flying from the mall, what exactly do you mean?
Well, you see, when the mall exploded, when the whole building came down, they actually flew from there and they came on the rail track, and that was very sad. And at that time there was a train that went past.
You must have been extremely scared.
Yes, I was very scared. At that moment I had phoned my husband and he was on his way. I was traumatized actually. I couldn't sleep last night because I saw the bodies lying on the floor.
And what was your response, being the residents that are here? Did you want to go in and help? How did you respond to that emergency situation?
In fact, my husband had phoned the police, and we phoned the fire department. He did a lot, and even his brother was assisting. And we also went and tried to assist, but there was like a stampede with all the workers on the railway line trying to fight with the policemen because they wanted to go to the scene and see what's happening. And it was very sad because the trains were going past.
Now, when we arrived on scene last night, some of the residents expressed that they were unhappy with the fact that the construction of this mall was taking place. How do you feel about this particular construction site?
Yeah, I mean, I feel it wasn't done in a proper way because we couldn't sleep at night. They worked throughout the night and the noise was extremely loud. Like we couldn't exactly sleep. We couldn't even watch TV. That's how loud the noise was.
And had you raised your concerns with authorities before?
No, not really. Not really. I didn't want to get involved in all of those things. But it was very disturbing. Very disturbing.
Okay. And so far, from what you gather from the other neighbors that also witnessed everything here, have the people here actually come to you guys to speak to you about the fact that there would be ongoing construction?
Yes, they did. In fact, my neighbor was very traumatized when the incident happened. And right now she's very traumatized because she also saw what happened.
All right. Okay, thank you so much for your time this morning, Jennifer. Dan, that's Jennifer Naidoo. As I said, she's one of the residents of this particular building on the roof of which we're now coming to you live from, and speaking just about how traumatized everybody along this stretch of road is, particularly after having witnessed what happened here yesterday. Back to you in studio.
Thank you very much. That's our reporter, Kathy Mushlahlana, at the scene there of that Tongaat building collapse now.
News that moves. eNCA.com.